What advice would you give to young women in Texas right now? I got pregnant with an IUD and had an ectopic pregnancy. I was 5 weeks along and had absolutely no idea. I'm not discouraging anyone to not get one, but just to solidify how scary the situation in Texas is, that even if you're doing the right thing and trying to prevent a pregnancy, it doesn't always work. It just makes it that much more infuriating and sad. I've been on the fence about getting an IUD or my tubes taken out. I'm currently pregnant with an unplanned baby due in 2 weeks. This law just solidified me getting my tubes out. I'll just have them do it when I get my C-section. Another kid would bankrupt us. The first one cost $10,000 out of pocket with insurance. This law is trash and I don't want to raise my daughters here anymore. Get local anesthesia when you get your IUD put in. I had local anesthesia and it barely hurt. My friend didn't, and she nearly passed out from the pain. I don't know why doctors don't offer this by default, except that as a society we're fine with making sexually active women suffer, I guess. But holy shit guys, it makes a huge difference. From sex educator Allison Moon on Twitter, @HeyOllyMoon, emergency contraception is available OTC or online, and there's no age limit in the US. Can be taken up to 5 days after sex. Keep it on hand and let your friends know you have it. You can keep it in the fridge. The shelf life for EC is a few years. ETA. Saw lots of people bringing up that BMI reduces how effective EC is. Here's what I replied from one such response that may be helpful. There are other options for people with higher BMI. Just from a quick Google I found that Tela is good for EC regardless of BMI, and though it is prescription only, you can get it prescribed through a site and pick it up at your local pharmacy. Helloasp.com was the site I saw. Refuse sex if the other person doesn't want to use protection. It was only a couple of years ago I was very stupid with an ex and risked pregnancy while in college. I wouldn't have been able to finish had I gotten pregnant. Also, see what your school offers for birth control. In my university, women had to take an exam to make sure the appropriate birth control was given. Just refuse sex, full stop. If women don't put out and it starts really affecting men, they will stand up and say, well, this is shit. No more Tinder. 100% of pregnancies start with sperm. There will be a lot of young men out there probably thinking this law doesn't really affect them. It does. Please stand up with your fellow women Texans and make the change. Buy bulk pregnancy tests online. Take one every 2 weeks. You can get 100 for about $20. Get a long-acting reversible contraceptive, LARC. This includes IUDs, 3-10-year protection depending on the brand. You do not have to have ever been pregnant to get one. And arm implants. Get the morning after pill and keep it on hand just in case. Use condoms. They protect against STIs too. Have an emergency fund. A 6-week abortion can cost $650. If you need to travel out of state after that point, it may be much more expensive. Use 2 forms of birth control. If you have a reason to believe your birth control failed, Plan B immediately, or a doctor's office 10 days later. That's how soon a pregnancy can be detected. Keep an emergency fund for an abortion, but ask your partner to pony up half. If you find yourself with an OPSI pregnancy more than once, you're likely not using birth control that's effective for you. Talk to your doctor about getting an IUD or implant instead. Know your options. Don't wait until it's too late to start protective measures. Plan B can be ordered off of Amazon. Keep a couple on hand just in case. Always keep condoms stocked in your house and refuse to have sex with the partner who won't use one. Contraception has many methods. If you don't like the pill, try the ring. If the ring isn't for you, get an IUD. If your healthcare provider won't give you any of these, go to Planned Parenthood. Keep pregnancy tests on hand always and take them every week or so. There are newer brands that offer multiple tests for this exact reason. It doesn't have to be the massive clear blue ones. Know your options, stay safe, and use your brain. Don't have unprotected sex if you can help it. And vote. These are elected officials making these laws. Vote them out of office. Condoms for women also exist. I suspect they're likely not as much of a guarantee, but it might be easier to prepare for oneself than insist of others. I didn't think it'd be worth mentioning, but seeing all the comments that solely rely on guys to put on a condom made me wonder how many people are aware that these even exist as an option. We need to be real. I hope TST can win this fight, I really do. And I think they should try. I'm gonna donate after this comment, but eventually their religious discrimination suits will reach the Supreme Court. Do we really believe they won't find some reason to rule against TST? They don't give a fuck and have lifetime appointments. The scary reality is no matter how right TST is, if 5 justices say they're wrong, it won't matter. Get involved in other ways too. Full court press. If you don't want to get pregnant, get an ID. If you do want to have a baby but want to be able to make difficult health decisions throughout your pregnancy, say if you find out your baby has horrible defects that will cause it to die upon birth, or find out that continuing to carry the baby puts your life at risk, move. Once you become pregnant in Texas, legally that child's current heartbeat is more important than you surviving. If you have other loved ones, you are responsible for. The only smart thing to do is leave the state. Depending on your politics and ideology, move, or continue life as normal, with all levels of decisions between. Seriously though, if I was living in Texas right now, I would be seriously considering leaving. They can't mandate that a 12-year-old girl wears a mask to school, but they can mandate that she carries a baby to full term after being raped or abused. Hell no, I'm out. Depending on your politics and ideology, of course your mileage may vary. 10 answers down and we finally have leave. Texas is a shit show. What reason would anyone have to want to stay there? They won't protect kids from COVID. They want everyone to carry a gun. They can't provide electricity reliably, and they control women's bodies. What the fuck reason does anyone have to stay? Get the fuck out within 10 years, before the next census. Okay, like I get his take. I do. But this just contributes to the narrative that sex is something for men and men alone. Plenty of women enjoy sex too. It's something I want as a woman. I don't want to withhold something I want from myself purely because government is fucking shit. ? I enjoy sex. I'd not just be hypothetically or potentially punishing men by abstaining from sex. I'd also be punishing and depriving myself. Men, be angrier. Get on the fucking picket lines and fight, because they clearly aren't listening to us women. Just change the fucking laws and stop treating me like a goddamn incubator. It's a great idea, but please remember this really isn't man versus women. It's authoritarianism against freedom. The history of women's rights, and reproductive rights in this case, isn't one of all women in a united front clicking their tongues and sighing every time men do something else to oppress their freedoms. I always think it was Margaret Atwood that said that, but I could be off. Religious women, and men, are the enemy of bodily autonomy here. I'll just give a history lesson here. Women didn't get voting rights through peaceful protests in the UK. They burned down buildings. They learned judo to fight off the cops. They'd hold bouquets of flowers with barbed wire in the middle so when men tried to rip them from their hands they got sliced up. They'd interrupt plays and throw out flyers. They would starve themselves to death. Cute protests haven't done much to protect reproductive rights in this country. Depends how young we are talking. If we are talking about high school age or younger, focus all your energy on school and do everything you can to make it possible to go to a college out of state, preferably a state you'd like to live in. Many college students end up living near their college town because of work opportunities that present themselves in the time you are there. That is an easy way to set yourself up to live in a different state as an adult. Harder to move as an adult when your life is already set in an area. If you are already an adult paying bills, I'd focus all your energy on saving as much money as you can so you can move to a different state. Whatever state that is will be up to you, but definitely don't live in Texas. If you are paying attention to the housing market and homeless situation, but everything Texas complains about with the US is literally overtaking their cities. If I lived in Texas, this law would be affecting me in the worst way. If this has been mentioned yet, but aidaccess.org can provide you with the abortion pill online with an online consult. It's a legit and legal site, but how it would work with the crazy abortion restrictions in Texas and other states. I've used it recently and would again if needed. I have used another site in the past that wasn't legit, but the pills I got worked. There are many sites that will mail you the pills when you are under 10 to 12 weeks pregnant. When a woman is in the situation of having an unwanted pregnancy, there isn't much they won't do to not be pregnant anymore. Hopefully, surrounding states have less restrictions and women can just go there instead. Move out of state if you can. Get politically active at any and all levels of government. Vote. Help other people to vote. Stand for election on local boards, councils if you have the time and energy. Have doubly safe sex, pill or implant Storie plus condom, and research how you would go about getting the morning after pill if anything happened, so that if you find yourself in a bad situation you don't lose precious time trying to research where you can source it. Boycott companies who fund the politicians who voted for this and encourage others to do so. Don't give up. This is about getting young Democrat voters to move out of Texas. Texas has been attracting young, educated, Democratic voters to work in their growing tech industries. The minute that Democrat Texas voters outnumber the R's in flip Texas, as happened to California, that's it for the GOP forever. They'll lose the state, they'll never make up enough seats every again, and then the Electoral College is finished. The difference is a few thousand votes. Slow down a few couples that might be looking to move to Texas, speed up a few couples thinking about moving away, and the GOP keeps their terrorist grasp on the U.S. Correction. Know your legislators' names and report them for aiding an abortion. Remember, this law is equal opportunity bounty hunting. Now please note they'll probably set up a filter for those names, so skip the names and add really detailed descriptions. Remember to go into uncomfortable detail about the myopic dead-hearted gleam in their eyes. My advice is to fight. This isn't constitutional. It's a crime. It subjugates basic human rights. You got raped. Too bad. Your punishment for being sexually assaulted is to pay for the consequences of the actions of the perpetrator and give birth to his unwanted and psychically scarring child. This is insanity. Condom broke and your pill didn't work. Well, fuck you. You shouldn't have enjoyed something that Jesus will never forgive you for. And you better be prepared to be a mother. Also, it's your fault for being born with reproductive organs, because that's a choice. Also, you better not even think about helping someone that finds themselves in a situation where doctors have told them that carrying the child to term, even if the child is wanted, will very likely result in death for the fetus and also for yourself, because you sure as fuck don't get to choose to stay alive. These fucking evil pieces of snake shit have made it actionable and litigious to help people. They've literally made it a crime to give people water while they stand in line to vote. They've passed laws to hinder people's ability to even get in a line to vote. I say fight. This isn't anything but actual and pure fucking evil. Nerks is an app where you can have BC sent in the mail, and they're great about getting it to you on time. It's $45 every 3 months if you don't have insurance, so it's very affordable. Use a period tracker on your phone to watch in case your birth control defects. Look into where the closest abortion clinic is to you. If you need to go, wear a face mask, and take an Uber or Lyft so no one can take your license plate info. Keep Plan B on hand. Get screened regularly. Get bulk pregnancy tests in a pack of Plan B. Test regularly, maybe every 2-4 weeks even if you have your period. It's more important than ever to figure out what form of birth control works best for you. Men who want to be child-free need to do their part and get their sperm counts checked and get vasectomies. I'm not in Texas but another red state that will probably follow suit, and these are all things my partner and I are implementing to protect our reproductive rights. 100 tests and 6 Plan B doses was $50, $60. As a woman who grew up in Texas, get an AID or the implant. If you prefer the pills, get the pills. Make sure to buy condoms for yourself. Doubling up protection is even safer. If your partner is willing to get the vasectomy, be there for them. but it is bad to force anyone into choice regarding their body. Planned Parenthood was very kind to me and my friends, and I've never seen people outside the clinic pounding women for walking inside. If you're angry, vote. Encourage your friends and family to vote too. If you wish to protest, then utilize your rights. Stay safe out there. You are not alone even if you live in Texas. Drastic and blunt, leave fast. If that's not the option, I can't say much without sounding like I'm a horrible person. Practicing safe sex is a must, but also we have to avoid getting raped because the law doesn't have that provision. Maybe stay away from getting tipsy when someone might take advantage of a drunken gal. Again, I'm not qualified enough for this because I'm going to sound like an asshole. Beat advice, GTF out of Texas, move. This is indicative of a larger problem with the people in this state and the legislature. With the stricter and stricter voting laws, it will be harder to get progressive people into the state legislature. Get out soon. What's not good for you as a woman won't be good for your future children either. Get online and get organized. There are groups who can help get you out of state if you need an abortion. Educate yourself about these groups and funds now in case you need them in a hurry. If you think there's even a slim chance you could be pregnant and may consider an abortion, don't go to a doctor unless you're in pain. If a doctor runs a pregnancy test on you and learns you're pregnant, that information could later be used to hurt you. Side note, do be cautious of ectopic pregnancies. If it's possible you're pregnant and you're experiencing pain in your side or stomach, see a doctor. Be brave. You are part of a global community of women. Women have flown abortion pills on drones into countries where they're illegal. Women have helped other women onto planes and ferries to access abortions in other countries. This is a temporary blip. You will fight this and you will survive this. Protest, protest, protest. Seriously. Do not shut up about it. Also, this might be controversial, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone by saying this, but sex strike. Absolutely refuse to have sex with anyone who supports this abomination of a law. Say it's because you don't want to get pregnant with the child you don't want, and you don't want to carry said child to term. My best advice for young women in Texas: you have 6 weeks give or take a day, or approximately 42 plus days give or take of being pregnant before you got the ride out to New Mexico for an abortion. The average cycle is 28 days. When you notice you have missed your period, you might want to buy a pregnancy test or two. This gives you some leeway with 2 weeks to get your abortion. Is it foolproof or perfect? Nope, but I'm sure it will work for the vast majority of young women in Texas. Monitor your cycles. If something is off, take a test. Then you go get your abortion. Worst case scenario, you're going to New Mexico. The good news is one of my brothers took a girl to get an abortion in New Mexico. He told me they split it down the middle and it wasn't even $200 each. It was less than $400 at PP. That's a pretty good deal from a consumer standpoint. Be vigilant, ladies. Good luck. Honestly, I feel so incredibly backstabbed by Texas and its insane abortion laws. Why are men still controlling what a woman can do with her body? It is nonsense. Like we are repeating history all over again, but in different instances. For the woman in Texas, I feel your pain. I sympathize with you. If you live in Texas and cannot access a safe abortion clinic, please contact me. I live in California and will be more than welcome to help find housing while you travel here to get an out-of-state abortion. Nobody should ever be at the point where they don't have any rights within their own personal bodies. Withhold sex, splurge on a nice new toy, expand your horizons and practice self-care. If one of the more popular adult toy websites would like to offer some sort of promotional deal for encourage or lay orders, I think that would be a fantastic way to promote self-care, capitalism, and body autonomy. Regardless, don't get frustrated. Women can get men to do most anything they want, given the right incentives, and our attention span is much shorter than our refractory period.